はい、では皆さん改めまして、こんにちは。おはようございます。現地はね、夕方かな、今日はね、カリフォルニアの、学校と、つないでおります、アートセンターですね。去年はね、私、直接訪問をして、お話をさせていただいた学校の一つでもあるんですけども、今年はね、ちょっと世の中こういう状態になってますので、オンラインで、実施の方を、させていただきます。皆さんよろしくお願いします。
Okay, so good morning from Japan and good evening to you guys over there in California. Nice to see you. It's me, Hiroshi Matsuyama from CyberConnect2. I had the pleasure of visiting the school directly last year in person, but with the current coronavirus situation, we're doing it seminars in this kind of like online type fashion. So we hope this can be enjoyable and informative for you today.
では、早速スライドを切り替えていきましょう。で、前半はですね、こうやって私と、あと、通訳でね、説明をしていきますけども、後半の方は、皆さんから、今日の話を聞いた上で、いただきます、質問ですね、募集しますので、今日話聞いてもらって、後半の方の質疑応答で、聞きたい質問は、コメント欄にね、YouTube の方で、書いていただければ、うちの、担当が、ピックアップして、まとめますんで、よろしくお願いします。
Okay, so today we will be doing the first half an hour of the presentation as an explanation of CyberConnect, what we're doing and who we're kind of looking for and things like that, the support we offer and other things like that. And then in the second half, we'll be doing a Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions at all, please write them into the comment section of the YouTube video. One of our staff will pick them up and we'll try to answer as best we can in real time.
ではめくりましょう。では改めまして、サイバーコネクト2というね、日本に本社がある、ゲーム開発会社、で代表をやっております、松山と申します。今日はよろしくお願いします。
So my name is Hiroshi Matsuyama, and I am the CEO and president of CyberConnect2, game developer here in Japan.
そしてですね、私いるのは今ここ東京スタジオなんですけれども、福岡本社側に、通訳のね、うちの担当の、リアム君がいます。今日通訳やってもらいますんで、リアム自分で自己紹介してください。
はい。Okay, so Mr. Matsuyama today is over in our Tokyo studio, so he's connected from the Tokyo studio in Japan. My name is Liam, and I am an interpreter and translator for CyberConnect2. I'll be helping him to translate questions and author the presentation today. I am connecting from our Fukuoka head office, so we got two different areas across Japan where we're connecting from to you guys today.
はい、めくってください。はい、まず冒頭に皆さんにお伝えしておきますが、サイバーコネクト2はね、今、世界中から、多くの人材の、採用、募集の方を、行っております。書かれている通り、あと80名ほど、採用する、計画でいます。
So right off the bat, we'd like to say to you guys that we are currently looking to recruit about 80 new staff members. That includes both in Japan and outside of Japan. So yeah, that's something we want to tell to you guys right off the bat.
で今日の話の中でもね、説明を、順番にしていきますけども、特に積極的にね、今、外国からの、採用というのを進めていまして、日本語ができなくても、我々には、通訳がいますので、日本に、来ていただいてですね、福岡、東京、あともちろんカナダのモントリオールもありますけども、3つの拠点で働ける環境というのを、用意しています。
Okay. And right now we are progressing with our sort of hiring or employment of international staff members as well. One thing that we do note is that during the application process and hiring new international staff, knowledge of Japanese is not needed. We do have interpretation and translation staff on site, and that includes both Fukuoka, Tokyo, and Montreal studios. So wherever you go, we do have a working environment prepared for international staff coming to work at CyberConnect.
ではめくりましょう。はい、改めまして、サイバーコネクト2という会社ですが、書かれている通りですね、今から25年ほど前に、設立した会社です。福岡に本社があります。で、もともと私含めてわずか10人から、スタートした会社なんですけども、今現在は、福岡、東京、モントリオールと、それぞれ合わせて240人ぐらいですね。で、ゲーム開発を行っています。
So CyberConnect2, as you can see here, was established around about 25 years ago. The head office is in Fukuoka, Japan. The company started with around about 10 employees, and now it has 240 across our 3 different studios in Tokyo, Fukuoka, Japan, and also Montreal in Canada.
世界中にあるいろんなゲーム会社さんとね、何が違うかっていうと、サイバーコネクト2では今現在ですね、家庭用ゲームソフトの開発っていうものに、特化して、制作を進めています。いわゆる皆さんお持ちのスマートフォンですね。ゲームアプリの開発を一切、今は、やっていないということです。
And one thing that might be slightly different between us and other game developers is we're mainly focused on consumer game software development. And what that means is we are not involved in the making of sort of smartphone application type games. We're mostly involved in developing games which can be used in a console where you can pick up a controller and play.
はい、めくりましょう。過去、作ってきたタイトルなんですけども、古くはね、プレイステーション1の時代から、Nintendo DS と、PS2、PS3 と、いろんなオリジナルゲームソフトの開発っていうものを行ってきました。
Okay, these are the titles we've worked on so far. So back from the PlayStation 1 era, or on lots of different platforms as well, from the PlayStation DS to PlayStation 3 as well. These are just some of the titles that we have made in the years that we've been active.
めくりましょう。オリジナルタイトルの代表作品ですけども、ドットアックシリーズという、RPG シリーズがあります。
We also have an original RPG series that we have worked on, the Dot Hack series.
シリーズも15年以上、やってまして、バンダイナムコエンターテインメントさんからね、発売を、してもらってます。
Okay, so we have been working on this series for over 15 years, and it has been published by Bandai Namco Entertainment.
めくりましょう。一方でお預かりしている、IP ですね、が、ありまして、もうサイバーコネクト2を世界で、認識、していただいたのはこちら、ナルト、アルティメット忍者、シリーズだと思います。
And another IP that we do have that we developed for is the Naruto series. And you could say that this series, something that we've been working on for a very long time, is actually the game series which puts CyberConnect2 on the map, both in Japan and internationally.
これもね、もうシリーズ、15年以上、やらせていただいている、サイバーコネクト2を代表する、タイトルです。
This series we've been working on for over 25 years, and you could say that it's the flagship series of CyberConnect.
はい、めくりましょう。はい、もう一つ、お預かりしている IP、ジョジョの奇妙な冒険です。
Okay, these are a couple of titles we've worked on in the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure franchise.
過去2作、作らせていただいています。
And we've made 2 titles in this series.
めくりましょう。はい、発売されているものでいうと、こちらが最新作になります。ドラゴンボール Z カカロットです。
Okay, this is our newest release, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
今年の1月にね、ワールドワイド、同発で、バンダイナムコエンターテインメントさんからね、発売されました。で、今現在も、おかげさまで大好評で、ダウンロードコンテンツや、有料無料含めて、アップデートの制作の方を、進めている最中です。
Okay, so the game itself was released back in January of this year via the publisher Bandai Namco Entertainment. It's had some good reception, and we're currently working on different downloadable contents to keep the game fresh and going on longer.
めくりましょう。はい、今、開発中の、最新作になります。鬼滅の刃、日の神血風弾になります。
Okay, and this is the newest game we have in development, so Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles.
ちょっとね、海外に関してはまだ情報も何も、出せないところですけども、日本でもね、まだ最新情報を出しておりません。これからね、また最新情報は、日本で発売されてます、週刊少年ジャンプ、あと、パブリッシャーであるアニプレックスからね、情報がまた出ますので、楽しみに待っててください。
Okay, so there hasn't been too much information on this released internationally yet, and there hasn't been any new information in Japan released on it either. So we can't tell you too much here, but if you're interested in learning more about this game, please keep looking out for the Weekly Shonen Jump magazine, which is sold here in Japan, and also checking on the Aniplex website and SNS channels to see look for any new information that might come out at certain points.
はい、めくりましょう。 はい、サイバーコネクト2で、今現在制作中のオリジナル、ゲームタイトルです。戦場の風雅です。
Okay, this is another original game title that we're working on at CyberConnect2, Fuga Melodies of Steel.
少人数でね、短期間開発で、行うって言っておきながら、それなりにやっぱ時間もかかってしまってるんですけども、もう少しすると、はい、また、最新情報をお届けできると思いますので、久しぶりのね、サイバーコネクト2のオリジナルタイトルなんですけども、初の、自社パブリッシングタイトルとも、なりますので、ぜひ楽しみに待っててください。
Okay, and this game was originally intended to be worked on by a small team with a short development time. It is taking a little bit more time than we would have we anticipated to begin with, but it is an original title by CyberConnect2 and is going to be our first self-published. So we think that we can release new information about this game soon, so we'd like you to look forward.
はい、めくりましょう。今ね、ゲームの話ばっかしてきましたけども、サイバーコネクト2は実はゲームだけじゃなくてね、漫画や、アニメーションの制作なんかもやってますので、それぞれを、連携しながら、エンターテインメント企業として、いろんなものを、手掛けています。
Okay, and we've talked a lot about the game development, but at CyberConnect2, we're not just focused on game development. We do have other things that we are working on in the fields of manga and also anime or animation too.
めくりましょう。はい、ここからはね、日本の、本社がある福岡の、ヘッドオフィスの方を、紹介していきたいと思うんですけども、もうちょっと、テンポを上げていきたいなと思いますので、ここからは、リアム君の方から、もう直接英語で、説明してもらいたいと思います。
So for a few parts from now on, there's some different introductions to the different development sites we do have at CyberConnect and a few things in terms of support we do offer to international staff, which I'm going to go through in a sort of fast pace now directly in English. So first here we have our Fukuoka head office. Okay, these are just some photos of what our Fukuoka head office looks like. Here you can see the lobby reception room. And also the assembly hall where we might have larger meetings if there wasn't the situation of the coronavirus going around. We can't do that right now, but it's one big room that we do use. And also we have our common room which also contains our library. Okay, and this is sort of a general idea of what the office looks like, where people are working. Okay, as you guys probably know, we do have 3 offices or 3 studios, 2 in Japan, so Fukuoka and Tokyo, and 1 in Canada, Montreal. The different studios are not working on different projects separately. All of the different studios connect together, work together, communicate together on the same projects. So the development is sort of simultaneously worked on across all three of the studios. Okay, this is mainly for our Fukuoka head office, but the company does describe to you different volumes of industry-related magazines that can be to do with games and also anime and manga. The staff use these to study up on what they want to make and also to use as a reference. We also do have a library which has, as you can see, as it is written here, movies and animes, over 9,000 copies, as well as a wide variety of manga and lots of different software that staff can borrow and use for either their reference for making games or just pick out something that they enjoy. Okay, again, just to give you an idea, we do have 3 different studios, so often we do have to have meetings with the different studios. And what we do is we usually connect via a video conference system. Okay, now we're moving on to a day at work. This would mainly be related to our Japan side. Generally, a day at the offices in Japan would be 9 till 6 with a 1-hour break. We do also have a snack break between 3 p.m. and 3:15 p.m. One thing to note is that overtime is not enforced at CyberConnect2. It's left to employees to take that responsibility. So if you feel that your work is finished, then you can go home, but it's up to you to determine whether you need to stay longer or not. But overtime is not enforced strictly, and the working time is strictly managed to make sure that staff are not working ridiculous hours. So it is managed very strictly. Okay, now moving on to a bit of the work atmosphere at CyberConnect2. Okay, so the company does have club activities. There are different clubs where staff might go get together outside of work and engage in different activities that can be anything from sort of sports to art related stuff. Again, with the coronavirus situation at the moment, there hasn't been too many club activities going on. Obviously, it's difficult to do that with the current situation, but this is something that the company does offer to staff. Negashimasu. The company also does get involved with recreational activities, and this includes not just staff members, but the families of staff members as well. So staff might go out to go hiking, or they might go out and have a barbecue or something like that. Again, with the coronavirus, it's difficult to do things like this, but it is something that the company likes to do, and we hope we could do many more of these activities going forward in the future as well. Okay, and now moving on to life in Fukuoka, what it might be like to live in Fukuoka as an international staff member. As you can see here, there's lots of different pictures of food. Fukuoka, as you may or may not know, is very famous for its food, its cuisine, lots of different foods here. Everything is very tasty in Fukuoka, and also the prices are very, very reasonable. The Fukuoka is a very nice, pleasant city to work. It's not massive like Tokyo. It is kind of compact, but it's an up-and-coming city. It's growing, very sort of modern city, lots of young people here as well. So yeah, so it's a very nice city to work, and it's also got a lot of activities or lots of things that people can enjoy on their time off. Here you can also see, as it's written here, it is quite an international city, so, and it also has a world-class transportation system. So it's well connected up to different cities, well connected up within Japan, and also well connected to different places outside of Japan as well. Okay, I touched on this just a minute ago. I did say that the prices in Fukuoka are very reasonable. This gives you a little breakdown on what the average might be. So if you were to go out, you might see an average of these kind of prices for maybe food and also for monthly rent. Also, in terms of commuting, Fukuoka is very well connected up, easy to get around. The average commute time, I guess, at longest would be around about 30 minutes. Again, this is just a bit about the salary breakdown. Generally, in terms of our Japan side, you'd have a net as 85% and taxes 15%, just to give you an idea. Okay, and then holidays in Japan. In Japan, you have about 123 days off in terms of annual days off. That includes national holidays and things like that, also company days off. And you also have paid vacation. So that can depend on how many years you've been working here, but you do have several weeks of paid vacation as well. Okay, and talking about our Japan side, this is mainly related again to our Japan side, not our Montreal side. Our Japan side, about 50% of the population here are non-Japanese staff. So here you can see a lot of the different nationalities we do have working for us in Japan. Again, nationality and age don't matter when we're recruiting. And another important thing to note is we're not looking for a specific knowledge of Japanese when employing international staff members. So you don't need to worry about not being able to speak or understand Japanese at the time of applying. Okay, moving on to sort of the flow of application to actually joining the company. Okay, here's a kind of general ideas about what the flow is from applying to actually moving to Japan and sort of the time frame for that. It's as you can see here, you generally apply and then you go through the interview process, and then you get an offer, and then after that, we go into the visa application process, looking for a place for you to live, and then moving to Japan. Generally speaking, it takes around about 2.5 months, 2.5 months to do this. Again, reiterating again with the coronavirus situation going around at the moment, it can actually take quite a bit longer than this. It's a situation which can't be helped, but generally speaking, if there's no issues or anything like that, this is generally the time frame you can expect from applying to getting a job offer to actually moving to Japan. And then again, as a time frame from actually landing in Japan to actually starting work, you have to sign your lease for your apartment, move in, settle down, and then you'll do your residence registrations and things like that. That can take around about 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, moving on to a few frequently asked questions we often get. Okay, first is about Japanese language learning support. Okay, so we do not require international staff or when people apply to the company to have a knowledge of Japanese We do have translators on site which help with the daily communication, help with tasks and things like that. And the company does also offer Japanese lessons to staff. Of course, the company does like you to be motivated to learn Japanese and eventually be able to stand on your feet when communicating with Japanese staff, but it's not a necessity at the very beginning. There's no necessity to know Japanese, the Japanese language. With this sort of support that we have in place, translators and lessons, we hope that we can help international staff to grow within CyberConnect as well. Onegaishimasu. Okay, the next is regarding visa and relocation. Onegaishimasu. Okay, so here is the support we do have for relocation. So we have, first of all, we have the company supports a visa application. So that's a working visa to allow you to come to Japan. Also, in terms of housing support, we do offer support in terms of housing. So you introduce people to a housing agent who will help to find a suitable place to live. And the company is also involved in daily life consultations, so that if you have any issues with your daily life in Japan, that can be outside of work or inside work. It doesn't matter. The company does like to listen to those consultations. Try to help as they can. Moving on to the benefits provided in Japan. Okay, these are the standard benefits we do get in Japan. So you have a commuting allowance, which is, as it is stated, it's an allowance for commuting to and from work. You do get annual paid leave, and you also get social insurance. Okay, and this is the social insurance, a breakdown of what you get. You have health insurance. Again, that's for when you become sick or injured. You get nursing care insurance, and you also get employment welfare pension. And the company pays 50% of the social insurance costs, so it's quite a good deal for staff, quite reasonable in terms of costs. Okay, now moving on to a bit about our Montreal studio. Okay, this is what our Montreal studio looks like, just a few photos. Onegaishimasu. 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 Okay, and then this is the work atmosphere in Montreal. Onegaishimasu. Okay, it's similar to our Japan side. The company does have studio activities regarding work and also outside of work, so the staff get together and sort of engage with each other outside of work. Onegaishimasu. Again, the Montreal studio is also involved in similar social events, as you can see here. Onegaishimasu. In terms of life in Montreal, Montreal is you could be considered this video game industry hub in terms of the city. So there are over 15,000 people working full time in the video game industry. So it's a very video game heavy city. Lots of people there who are interested in video games as well. Again, Montreal could be considered to be a easy to commute place as well. Like Fukuoka, the average time tends to be around about 30 minutes. It has a good transportation system. You also have different bicycles, well, rental bicycles, which you can use, and it's also very easy to walk around, so easy to get around. And also you have world-class art and cultural scenes, and also parks and cafes, which you can enjoy on your time off. Onegaishimasu. Okay, in terms of open positions, onegaishimasu. This is just a snippet view of some of the open positions that we do have at CyberConnect2. What we would ask you to do is to refer to our online employment website, which is all in English. It has a list of all of the different positions that we do have available and who we are looking to hire people for. And for each position, there is a breakdown of the different knowledge, skills, and tools that you do need to have in order to apply for a position. It also gives them an outline of what we would like to see in the portfolios and things like that. So we'd ask you to take a look at the International Foreign Employment website. And talking about that, this is the Foreign Employment website. So if you take a look at this, you can find on here FAQs and things like that. And also, as I said just now, a list of the different open positions we have and what we would like to see when you're applying, what sort of knowledge we want you to have. It's all listed on there in detail in English, so we'd ask you to take a look at that when you can. はい、お願いします。
はい、今のね、求人サイト、グリッシュページもありますけども、そこに必要な職種ですね、に対するその求められる、スキルとか、使用しているツールなんかも細かく紹介されてますんで、ぜひこの採用ページしっかり見てください。
Okay, and just to reiterate the point that on the website, for each of the different positions we do have open, there is a list of knowledge, skills, tools that we would like you to know when applying for this position. So take a look at that. It's all written in English in detail. So please take a look at that when you can.
はい、ではちょっとまとめますね。 はい、めくってください。こちら、ありとあらゆる SNS のね、アカウントが表示されています。よかったら皆さん、フォローしてください。特にね、うちのイングリッシュアカウントなんかもあって、Facebook、まあ、モントリオールもありますし、それぞれ質問があれば、直接聞いてもらっても構いません。
Okay, so these are our different SNS channels that we do have. If you have any questions or things like that, you can contact us in English via our English sort of SNS channels. Also, we do have the Mr. Matsuyama's SNS channels himself. But if you do try to contact him or want to become friends with him, please try to write to him in Japanese. He'd appreciate that.
はい、ありがとう。めくってください。はい、今ご覧のね、YouTube の方ですけども、サイバーコネクト2の公式、チャンネルになります。で、まあ、様々なね、日本のクリエイターとのトーク番組だったりとか、あと、採用に向けたね、必要な技術の説明だったり、全部が、英語字幕に対応しているわけじゃないんですけども、英語字幕に対応している、番組も多いので、よかったら皆さん、見てみてください。
Okay, this is our YouTube channel. So there's lots of different videos on here which show, lots of different sort of variety shows where we talk with different creators and other seminars and things like that on here. A lot of videos do have English subtitles, not all, but if you're interested in learning more about CyberConnect2 and what we're doing, please take a look at our YouTube channel and take a look at the videos that we do have there.
めくりましょう。はい。で、今日ですね、サイバーコネクト2の話聞いていただいて、日本の、ゲーム会社、ちょっと興味出てきたなということであれば、こちらの本が、おすすめです。私が書いた本なんですけども、私の目から見た、ゲーム業界20年ですね、を、一冊の本にまとめてあります。英語で、書かれてますので、よかったら、読んでみてください。
Okay, and this is a book written by Mr. Matsuyama himself. It's available on Amazon Kindle in English right now, and is about the Japanese game development industry and also more about CyberConnect2. So if you want to learn more about that, please pick it up and have a read.
はい、めくってください。はい、一通りここまでですね。ここからはちょっと皆さんから、いただく質問ですね、答えていく、フリートークの時間にしていきたいんですけども、まず冒頭ですね、事前に、学校から、もらってます4つ、質問がありますので、それに順番に答えていきつつ、皆さんの、質問をまた改めて拾っていきたいと思います。
Okay, so that's all for the presentation section of today's session. Now I'd like to move over to the Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions at all, please write them in the comment sections of the YouTube video and we'll try to pick those up and answer them in real time. We do have a few questions that we received in advance, so we'll go through those first.
はい、では1個ずついきましょうかね。はい、ちょっと待ってね。1番はどれだ？これか。はい、サイバーコネクト2に入社する、にあたって日本語を話せない従業員の経験はどのようなものでしたか？どういう意味だろうね、これね。いや、もうわかる意味。英語の原文見るとどう
いうそうですね。
うん。
CyberConnect2 で働く、日本語が、話せない海外スタッフはどういう経験になっているのか。
経験になってるってどういう意味？
どういう経験っていうか、どういうか、その日本語話せない海外スタッフにとってはどういう雰囲気ですかっていう。
どういう感じですかってことか。
どういう感じですかっていう。
エクスペリエンスって書いてあるからね、やっぱ経験って思っちゃうよね。
はい、
なるほど。けど、なんだろう。もちろんね、間に通訳いるからさ、ワンクッションを挟むのはね、日本人にとっても、ね、外国人にとっても同じだと思うんだけども、それでもね、お互いにこう熱意を持って、コミュニケーションを図りながら、日々、ものづくり、やってますよ。で、この辺は多分、間にいるリアムなんかが一番、こう、雰囲気伝えられやすいんじゃないかなって思うから、あなたの言葉で構わないからさ、俺は、こんな感じの言い方にどうしてもなっちゃうから、質問を読み上げるのと同時に、俺が言ったことと、あなたの意見と両方合わせて、答えてください。
Okay, so the first question we got was, what has the experience been like for non-Japanese speaking employees joining CyberConnect2? first I'll give you the answer of Mr. Matsuyama himself. So it says that we do have translators and interpreters at CyberConnect2. So that is a way that non-Japanese staff can communicate with Japanese staff members, and it's the same for all staff members, both for Japanese staff members and non-Japanese staff members. Everyone here does have a passion for games and does have a passion to sort of create things. So when you do have that sort of passion, it sort of breaks down the barriers of communication. As someone who is sort of jumping in between international staff members, Japanese staff members a lot, I'd say that it's a good experience for international staff members to sort of learn about new ways of working, learn about how sort of game development is done in Japan, and also for them to bring their own ideas to the Japanese staff. At CyberConnect2, it's very important for you to have this sort of communication, and also to sort of talk to each other about different ideas and different opinions. Because there's a lot of people coming here from all over the world. Everyone comes from a different culture, a different way of thinking, and have different kinds of experience. And sort of building that up and communicating that with the different staff members on the Japan side, and also Japan staff members also giving their opinions and things like that, it makes for more interesting communication. It makes for more interesting ideas when working on games. So we'd say that it's a very good opportunity for non-Japanese speaking employees as well, sort of bring out their ideas and sort of show that passion, and sort of communicate and sort of bring their different ideas to the table, and match that with the Japanese staff members' ideas, and sort of make more interesting games.
めっちゃ喋ってたけど、要約するとどんな雰囲気って伝えたの？
やっぱりみんな同じ情熱を持っているので、それがその情熱さえあれば、結構そのコミュニケーションを取りたいのであれば取れると思ってます。で、結構その日本語話せないスタッフでも、よく日々に見ているのが、その海外スタッフが結構違う経験を持ってるんじゃないですか。他の国から来て、いろんなことを見て、違うものを見てて、でその意見を情熱と意見を持って日本人のスタッフと見せても話して、でその日本人スタッフも逆に日本人スタッフなりのその経験を海外スタッフに伝えて、でそのコミュニケーションでより面白い作品、作れるっていうのが私の、よく見ててよく私の意見です、ね。
了解、分かった。はい、では2つ目の質問いきたいと思います。採用プロセスについて教えて、くださいということなんですけども、これはさっきね、スライドの中で言ってるから、これで理解できてると思ってますので、なんかまだ分かんないというところがあるようであれば、改めて質問ください。
Okay, so the next question we got is, can you describe the hiring process? So for this, we described a bit about this in the presentation we had before, so we hope that you'd be more aware of this now from watching the presentation. But if you do have further questions, feel free to put those in the comment section, or you can ask us via our website or anything like that.
はい、では3つ目いきます。理想的なポートフォリオに何を求めていますか？
Okay, so the next question we got is, what do you look for in an ideal portfolio?
理想的な、いや、割と普通ですよ。スタイルっていう意味で言うとね。基本はやっぱ応募はオンラインになりますので、入力フォームに自分のね、プロフィールと今まで作ってきた作品の、URL、貼ってもらえればそこに見に行きますので、それで全ての評価は行います。
Okay, in terms of this question, it's kind of general in terms of style. If you do have a portfolio where you think you have titles which show your technical skill, we usually do it online, so you can access through the sort of application form and add in a URL to the works that you have made before. Then we can take a look at that and sort of take a look at what you've done and sort of judge your skill based on that.
そこから先はもうあとクオリティのね、作品のクオリティの話になってくるし、作品見ればどういう技術をね、身につけてる人なのかっていうのはやっぱ分かりますので、それはもう皆さんで、考えて作品を見せてほしいとは思うんですけども、 ただね、リアルな車のね、モデルとか、そんなんをいっぱい見せられても、うち知っての通り、なんだろう、漫画、アニメ、ゲームを作ることがやっぱ多いから、そういうのがやっぱ好きな人、例えば僕のヒーローアカデミアが好きとか、デーモンスレイヤーが好きとか、ドラゴンボール好きとか、そういう人とやっぱ一緒に仕事したいよね。そういう会社ですよ、うち。はい。
So in terms of quality, we'd really love to see sort of works where you know show a wide range of knowledge and skill. We do look at that, and we can see from portfolios what kind of skills and what kind of knowledge you do have. One thing to note about CyberConnect2 is whether you've made a lot of sort of like real type cars or something like that. Well, CyberConnect2 is very much into the anime and manga style. So we really want to work with people who have a passion for that. So My Hero Academia or Demon Slayer or Dragon Ball, things like that. So that's one thing to note about when handing in a portfolio.
はい、では次いきます。リモート可能なポジションはありますかという質問をいただいてます。
Okay, so the next question we got is, do you have remote positions available?
冒頭で言った通りね、今はね、モントリオールなんかは特に、もう3月からずっと、リモートワークが続いてますし、日本もね、もうこのコロナの影響で、3月から6月ぐらいまで、福岡、東京ともに、リモートワークにしました。で、今はね、7月ぐらいから、福岡、東京はシフト勤務で、朝の通勤ラッシュの時間をちょっとこう避けるような形でね、ちょっと遅めにみんな、出社してもらって、仕事をしているっていうのが、現状です。
Okay, so right now, obviously the coronavirus situation back earlier in the year, all three studios, that includes Canada and also Japan side, went on remote work. Right now, our Japan studios are back at work, but on a sort of time shifted schedule. So the staff are sort of working at different times that they would usually work in order to avoid rush hours and avoid lots of people on public transportation, things like that. Our Montreal studio is still working remotely. This is the current situation at CyberConnect2.
ただ、はっきり、言いますけど、やっぱ日本でもね、半年ぐらい、リモートワークに切り替えたんですけど、で、それぞれ家にパソコン持って帰って、みんなでオンラインでつないでってやりましたけど、やっぱり開発効率は落ちたんですよ。なので、ローカルでね、作業をやるだけだったらもちろんできるとは思うんですけども、結局はデータを一つにして、コントローラーを握って、ゲーム機でやっぱチェックをしないと、ゲームは絶対に完成しませんから、そこはね、どうしても、リモートでやることが前提ではやはりなく、スタジオにみんなで集まってスタジオワークで、こう、ものを作っていくっていうことが、どうしてもやっぱ前提に、なります。
Okay. And as we did mention, the company did go into telework and people took their PCs home and work on that. But to be frank with you guys, the efficiency of game development did go down during that period. We can't complete games without having the dev kit actually picking up and playing what we're making and sort of doing things like that. So in terms of question, in terms of remote work positions, we generally ask staff to come to the studio and actually work at the studio. This is something which improves our efficiency and helps us to complete games to the level that we want them to be at.
で、いただいてますご質問にね、お答えしておくと、リモート可能な、じゃあ、ポジションはありますかっていうことなんですけども、実は、あります。日本でも、外国もそうですけども、リモートワークで、お仕事をしている人間は、います。
To answer the question straight, though, do we have remote positions available? Well, there are remote positions that are available at CyberConnect, also in Japan as well.
ただそれは、ポジションというか職種っていう意味合いではなくですね、やっぱり作業をやる上で、ものすごくこうコミュニケーション能力がやっぱ高くって、あと、例えば日本語も理解できて、英語もできて、そしてこう相手が何を求めているのかっていうことを遠隔の状態でもちゃんと汲み取って、そしてこう正確にものを伝えられるっていう、ある一定のやっぱそのスキルを持ってる人だったらやっぱ安心してできますよね。なので、職種によって、リモートできる、できないではなく、人によってできる、できないにやっぱなってくるので、モントリオールスタジオも結局今まで3年、 スタジオワークでずっと一緒にね、3拠点で連携しながらやってきたから、今、在宅でもね、できるっていう、バックボーンがやっぱありますので、それやっぱ人によって違うのかなと思います。
Okay, so in terms of the remote positions, it doesn't depend so much on the type of job that you are doing. It's more dependent on the person themselves. So in terms of having someone work remotely, they would need good communication in both English and Japanese to be able to sort of understand what's going on and also to communicate smoothly. This also helps with efficiency when working. This is something which should be very important for someone who would be working remotely. So they would need to have that sort of skills available.
はい、では、今日ね、改めて、新たにいただいた、質問、お答えしていきたいと思います。ちょっと、質問をまず読み上げますね。こんにちは。私は最近ゲームデザインのポジションに応募しましたが、コミュニケーションの障害のために拒否されました。私は2年間日本語を勉強しています。採用される可能性を高めるために何ができますかという質問です。
Okay, so now we're going to move on to some of the questions we got from the comment section. So the first one is, hi, I recently applied for a game design position and was denied because of communication barriers. I have been studying Japanese for about 2 years. What can I do to help my chances of being hired?
これはちょっと英語のニュアンスを確認したいんだけどさ、リアム。
はい。
これ応募しましたがっていうのは、うちかな？それとも他のゲーム会社さんのことかな？わかんない、それは。
この英語だと不明です。わかりません。
わからない。なるほど。了解です。わかりました。まあ、少なくともうちに関しては、日本語に関してはね、2年間勉強されてるってなったら、それは頼もしい話だし、もう別にね、日本語能力が足りないから不合格にはもちろんならないから、通訳いるんで。で、もしうちで不合格になったっていうんだったら、やっぱゲームデザイナーとしてのやっぱ能力が、足りていなかったってことだと思います。ゲームデザイナーが力を発揮するのは、やっぱゲームの制作の経験を持つことだと思いますので、個人でも、できればチームで、小規模でも構わないので、ご自身のチームで作った、ゲームをしっかりと、アピール、してほしいなって思います。
So in terms of this question, so in terms of this, well, the answer to this question, we weren't sure if you were saying you applied for a position at CyberConnect2 specifically, but he says at CyberConnect2, there shouldn't be any sort of not hiring because of communication barriers in terms of Japanese. You do say you also have 2 years of Japanese. But if you were didn't get the position at CyberConnect2, the main reason would more than likely be in terms of the game designer experience. So in terms of getting hired as a game designer, we'd love to show a game or work that you've made in a team where you can really appeal sort of skills you have as a game designer, and also show what you have designed, and that would be most important thing that we would be looking at when looking to hire a game designer.
今はね、プログラマーが極端な話いなかったとしても、ユニティとか、アニュアルエンジンとか、ゲームを組み立てるためのね、勉強しなきゃいけないですけども、エンジン、ツールっていうのはやっぱありますので、それらをしっかり、学んでいただいてですね、やっぱり、ゲームを、作っていただくのが一番かと思います、ゲームデザイナーは。
And another thing to look at would be to learn game engines like Unity and Unreal Engine, specifically and Unreal Engine. There are these tools, even without programmers. It would be good to have a knowledge of these tools and sort of make a work which really shows your technical skill as a game designer and shows what you can do is something that we'd be looking for.
はい。では、続いてのご質問です。私は現在東京で12月まで日本語を勉強している、ゲームデザインの、卒業生です。受け入れられれば1月に、福岡のオフィスで働き始めたいと思います。いつ申請すればいいですかというご質問をいただいています。
Okay, so the next question we got is, I'm a game design graduate currently studying Japanese in Tokyo until December, and I would like to start working at the Fukuoka offices in January if accepted. When should I apply?
これはアートセンターの方じゃないですね。東京在住の方ってことですね。はい。いつ申請すればいいですかという、ご質問に対しては、いつでも大丈夫です。準備ができ次第、ご応募、いただければと、思います。
To answer the question is when you should apply. Well, that should anytime you like is when you're ready to apply. We'd love to receive your application. There's no set period when you need to apply. You can apply anytime.
卒業生ですよね。卒業してる方ですよね。
はい。
卒業
大学卒業して、はい。
卒業してるんだよね。
はい。
じゃあ問題ないな、エナム。卒業してればいつ応募してもらってもいいよね。いいよね。はい。いつでも大丈夫ですよ。在校生であればね、ちょっと学校の先生ともちろん相談してもらう必要があるんですけども、決まってるんで。まあけど、卒業してるんだったらもういつでも大丈夫ですよ。ご応募ください。
So if you're still at a school or something, then it takes well you'd have to consult with your teachers about that because the time period can be decided depending on that. But if you are graduated, that's fine. You can apply anytime you like. So please try applying if you're when and if you're ready.
はい、次の質問いくんですけども、はい、読み上げますね。こんにちは、私は13歳ですが、将来あなたの会社のゲームデザイナーになるために必要な、準備を知りたいと思っていました。私は基礎知識を持っていて、現在ゲームに、取り組んでいますという、ご質問いただいてます。
Okay, so the next question we got is, hello, I am 13 years old, but I wanted to know the steps I should take to be a game designer for your company in the future. I know the basics and I am currently working on a game.
13歳。中学生ですよね。いやー、頼もしい限りですよ。ね、ちょっとどこまでね、うちの、記事とかをご覧になられてるか分かりませんけども、今うちはね、日本でもね、高校卒業からの、高卒採用っていうのを積極的に進めてる、ところなんですけど、一応私のね、個人的な、まあ、なんでしょう、こうビジョンとしてはね、中学卒業した人間、いわゆる中卒、15歳以上ですね。の人間でもやっぱ採用したいっていう気持ちがありますし、この業界やっぱ早ければ早いほどいいですから、そういうつもりでいますんで、まあ、ぜひちょっと応援したい気持ちになってますね、私は。はい。
Oh, so he says, oh, so you're 13 years old, so kind of in Japan, maybe middle school level. He says that a personal vision of his is to be able to employ staff members from a middle school type age. We do some from high school as well, but just to get into this industry as early as possible is quite a good thing.
まあ、13歳ってことなので、中学生ですから、さすがにね、多分日本の法律関係ないから、外国人だから、採用っていうわけでも正直多分いかないと思うので、ね、日本でも中学生ぐらいのね、学生さんから将来ゲームデザイナーになりたいからどうしたらいいですかっていう質問を実は結構いただくので、まあ、それと同じ、まあ、アドバイスをさせていただくんですけども、まずゲームを作ることなんですね。で、個人で作ることから多分最初始めると思うんですけども、結局会社入ったらたくさんの人たちと一緒にゲームを作ることになるので、なるだけこう、お友達とね、一緒に、まあ、夢を持って3人でもいいから、チーム制作で、ものを作る経験をやっぱ持っといてもらえるとやっぱいいなってやっぱ思いますね。ね、こう友達作るの苦手とか、一人でやる方が楽っていう人は分かるよ、気持ちは。分かりますけど、なるだけこう、友達と一緒にこう広げて、コミュニケーション取れて、もの作れるっていう人がやっぱゲーム開発者には向いてるので、そこはちょっと頑張ってやってほしいなって思いますね。
So he says, in terms of the age, quite difficult to employ from an age that young. But in terms of the advice to give you, in terms of that question, he gave the same advice that he's given before. So the most important thing is to make a game, and then when you do end up joining a game developer, you'll end up working on a team of lots of people. So it's quite important to make a game with friends, maybe 3 or 4 people in a team, and sort of make a game where you can share your skills and sort of show that you can work in a team and make some good game design.
ただ、ちょっとで、このご質問いただいている13歳の方に限らずですけど、今日ちょっとゲームデザイナー志望の方が多いので、ゲームデザイナー全般に関するちょっと話をしておくと、ゲーム開発って大きく4つの仕事でできてるじゃないですか。ゲームデザイナー、アーティスト、プログラマー、サウンドって。けど、この中で一番新卒で難易度高いのってゲームデザイナーですからね。それを分かった上で、皆さん、自分の将来決められてるんだったら全然いいんですけども、一番総合力が求められますし、一番難易度が高いですよ。正直、新卒で一番即戦力として採用されやすいのはアーティスト、CG を作る技術を身につける。もうこれはもうやれば身につきますから。で、あと、プログラム。これもやっぱりプログラム技術を身につければ、一定の評価が得られますので、正直言うとこの2つが一番、なんでしょう、近道って言ったらあれですけども、で、大体この経験を持って将来、こう、ジョブチェンジしてですね、ゲームデザイナーやりたいですって言って、こう、実績を持ってゲームデザイナーになるのが、本当はやっぱ業界的にも近道ですよ。ただ、もちろん不可能ではないので、新卒でゲームデザイナーの採用もうちはもちろんやってますけど、もうとんでもない実力の持ち主がやっぱ入ってきますので、なかなかこう、難易度が高いっていうことは皆さんにはちょっとお伝えしておきますね。はい。
And just a little bit of more advice. In terms of the game designer position, it is quite a difficult position to get into straight away, especially if you're a new graduate. It's sort of a lot of things depend on the game design position. He says that in terms of the closest path to getting that position for new graduates, the easiest hires are sort of artists who have a specific level that they can use in making CG art. They have a specific level that can be judged, and the same with programmers. If you have a certain amount of programming knowledge, there's a specific level that we can see in terms of knowledge and things like that, which makes it easier to hire programmers from the graduate level. To get into one of these positions first and then move over to game designer later in the career is maybe a good path for some people wanting to get into game design, but to get into game design straight away, because it's such a position which needs so much knowledge, it's quite difficult to get into right at the beginning.
はい、伝わったかな。つうか、アートセンターなのにゲームデザイナー志望が多いね、今日ね。まあいいや。はい。ではですね、続いてのご質問です。去年の8月に応募して落ちました。あら、うちですかね。はい。それ以来、UE について一生懸命勉強してきました。再度申請できる、最低待ち時間はありますかという、ご質問です。
Okay, so the next question we got is, I applied for a position in August of last year, but was denied. And since then, I've studied hard to improve of Unreal. Is there some minimum wait time frame in which I can apply again? Thanks.
はい、昨年ご応募いただいたということでありがとうございました。で、残念ながらね、ちょっと不合格だったようですけども、で、UE について、はい、一生懸命勉強されているということで、はい、素晴らしいことだと思います。で、再度申請できる最低待ち時間っていうのは、その間のね、開ける時間ってことだと思いますけれども、正確に言うと、その期限はないですよ。ご自身の中で、やっぱ、不合格になってしまったんだったら、何が足りなかったのかっていうのを自分でやっぱ分析していただいて、そこを、補う、能力を、見せられる、準備が整ったら、いつでもご応募いただいて、構いません。そういったルールは、ございません。
So first of all, thank you very much for your application, and we're sorry that it didn't turn out how you would have wanted it to. In terms of studying more on Unreal Engine and trying to improve an Unreal Engine, that's very good. In terms of a time period or a time frame for reapplying in, there's no specific period of or sort of rule on that. But what we would ask you to do is to, from your experience last time in applying, is to sort of have that self-analysis of why you might have not passed the interview process, and to sort of learn from that and build yourself up from that. And then when you're ready to apply again, then we'd be happy to receive another application.
はい、では続いてのご質問です。応募者へのアドバイスはありますか？どうすれば求人を得るチャンスを増やすことができるのでしょうかという、ご質問です。
Okay, so the next question we got is, do you have any advice for anyone applying in regards to how we could increase our chance of getting a job offer?
もうこれはもう日本でも、どこの国でも同じこと言ってるんですけども、 ご自身がその志望される会社のことを攻略することがやっぱもう不可欠というか、一番の攻略だと、私は、思います。その会社のことを知るっていう意味です。例えばサイバーコネクト2だったら、今作ってるどのプロジェクトもアンリアルエンジン使ってるんですね。だったらアンリアルエンジン勉強しておくと有利ですよね。で、あと、うちは漫画アニメゲームが多いじゃないですか。じゃあ、そういうのが好きで、そういうのを作れるっていうのをアピールすると、うち採用されやすいですよね。車とかリアルなやっぱ CG 作られても、それはうちではあんま作んないよ、そういうのっていう状態になりますので、やっぱそういうのをしっかりと、アピールする、その会社のことを、知った上で、応募するっていうことがやっぱ大事かなと思います。
So this is the same thing in terms of this question. We often say the same answer to both to people in Japan and outside of Japan internationally as well. One of the most important things when applying to a company is to know about the company. So if you were to know about CyberConnect, you may know that we would use Unreal Engine more, for example. So it would you might think it's important to study Unreal Engine and then study Unreal Engine, for example. Or you might know that our company mainly focuses on making games in the style of anime and manga. And so you might say to yourself that you need to study that style and maybe make some works in that style in the anime and manga style. If you only make some works in terms of real life type things like cards and things like that, we would say perhaps it's not something that we make really at CyberConnect2. So that would be one thing to consider when looking to apply and to increase your chance of getting a job offer.
はい。続いてのご質問です。採用されるには日本語を理解する必要がありますかという質問ですね。まあけど、これは言うたよね、さっきね。日本語は必須じゃないですよって。入社した後にもね、日本語レッスンとかっていう、サポートもしていくっていう話もしたと思いますので、まあ、少しずつ、勉強してもらえればいいので、今は、日本語よりも、ゲームを作る能力、これをしっかりと、アピールしてもらえればと、思います。
Okay, so the final question we got is, do you have to understand Japanese to be hired? This is something that we've touched on a few times today. No, a level of Japanese is not needed to be hired at CyberConnect2. Rather than Japanese, we've been mainly looking at your game creator knowledge or your skill and knowledge as a game creator. That's something we'd be looking at mostly. And as we said before, we do have Japanese lessons at CyberConnect2 on site. So we would support you in building up your Japanese level at that time. But in terms of being hired, to answer your question straight, in terms of being hired, there is no need to understand Japanese at that point.
はい、今日は、お時間、ここまでとなります。で、ちょっと最後に私からなんですけども、現実問題ですね、今まだ、世界中ね、このコロナの、影響が、収まってるわけではないじゃないですか。とはいえですね、少しずつ、日本の政府の方も、いわゆる、外国から日本に、やってくる際の、入国制限というものを、少しずつ解除、してきているのが現状です。これから多分皆さんがね、就職活動を行って、ご応募いただいて、合格して、まあ、一定の準備しなきゃいけないですし、ビザの手続きもやっぱりやんなきゃいけないと思いますけども、少しずつ、これから、年末、来年に向けて解除されていくと思いますので、少しだけちょっとこう、明るくなってきたかなと思います。
And just that's so basically all the time we have for today, but just a thing at the very end here. Obviously, we do have the coronavirus still going around, and it's not completely been solved yet. But it's slowly opening up. Japan is opening up a bit more from now on, and we can see sort of some light at the end of the to improve and getting on back to normality.
はい。なので、まずはね、ゲームを作る能力を、しっかり身につけて、それをアピールしていただいて、まあ、合格することが、先だと思いますので、そこから先のね、生活面だったりとか、ビザの手続きとかはもちろんお手伝いしますので、まずはしっかり、皆さん勉強して、能力を身につけてほしいと思います。そして皆さんのご応募お待ちしてます。
And so what we'd like you to do is to continue studying, make sure you've got all your skills and knowledge up there ready to appeal that when applying. And then you can apply. And then if you do get a job offer, then we'll help you on the visa application process and things like that. But it was happy for us to say we're looking forward to receiving any applications from you.
はい、ということで、本日はね、ご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またね、この YouTube チャンネル、いろいろ見てもらえればと思いますので、引き続きよろしくお願いします。
Okay, so thank you very much for today. We hope it was informative and great for you guys. Please take a look at our YouTube channel for any other seminars and things like that, or any other information on CyberConnect2 as well.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
はい。